What's going on YouTube? As you may know, some of the very first luxury crossovers in the world were the ancestors of these two models, the BMW X5 and the Mercedes GLE, formerly known as the ML. These two have been duking it out since the 90s, and the competition has only grown stronger with these new versions. So the question remains, which of these two is the best option? That's what we're about to find out. Now, even though money probably isn't the main consideration for those shopping between these two, we will start off by breaking down the pricing. Beginning with the BMW X5, we have the xDrive 40i model, which is the mainstream version most people pick. As German automakers are known for, there are still tons of a la carte options you can pick, so that makes for an additional $14,300 including destination. The total is just over $79,000. The GLE does offer a 4-cylinder engine with the GLE 350, but today we have the higher-end GLE 450 model. That makes it equivalent to the BMW's inline 6-cylinder 40i, and after adding in the equivalent options as well, we arrive at a steep total price of $84,770. We will evaluate this $5,500 price difference a little later in the value section, but for now, let's start out by checking out the exteriors. Before we get into this, I do want to acknowledge that both the X5 and GLE will receive some minor exterior and interior enhancements for the upcoming 2024 model year. We will revisit this with an updated comparison later in the fall, but for now these two are rocking their brand's signature designs. The GLE continues with a modest and elegant Mercedes design, while the BMW also rocks the brand's normal kidney grille that hasn't been supersized like it has in the latest BMWs. As far as lighting is concerned, both luxury SUVs are rocking bright and advanced full LED lighting that is also adaptive. Now heading to the sides, both have nice rear-wheel drive proportions and look sporty with their M Sport and AMG line packages, respectively. Standard wheel options are 19-inch alloys, and both models today are showing off attractive 21-inch alloy designs. But the BMW does have painted brake calipers, unlike the Benz. Moving to the rear designs, both look expensive and carry on the same themes from the front and sides. The taillights are of course fully LED, and you also have exposed wipers and dual exhaust outlets. The tow ratings are similar to one another, although the Mercedes can tow about 6.5% more than the BMW, at 7,700 pounds versus the Beamer's 7,200 pounds. Now heading on to some of the other features, both of them have heated, power-folding, auto-dimming mirrors with blind spot monitoring. And both of them also come equipped with all the latest active safety systems, including automatic forward emergency braking, lane keeping assist, adaptive cruise control, auto high beam headlights, and highway driving assistance. Finally, when it comes to warranties, both have 4-year 50,000-mile basic and powertrain warranties, but only the BMW comes with 3 years of complimentary maintenance. So far, this has been neck and neck, but the real important things are inside the cabin and out on the road, so let's move on. Walking up to the vehicles, both of course have smart entry and high-quality key fobs. And once we actually open up the doors and view the interiors, they both have a lot of wow factor. Materials and colors are very rich looking, although, surprisingly, both models have synthetic leather seating. The BMW's is finished in the cognac color for its 16-way power adjusting seats with memory, heating, ventilation, and massage. The Merc also has 16-way adjustment via the door controls, and the same features minus the massage, which requires another $1,100 package. Now that we've climbed inside, we can discuss the major point of cabin materials. Unsurprisingly, both of these two use top-notch selections throughout, including real wood, aluminum elements, plus beautiful detailed metal speaker grills in the Mercedes, and glass controls in the BMW. After firing them up, we are first greeted by 12.3-inch digital gauge clusters. Both are bright and have good graphics with tons of customizability, but only the X5 includes a head-up display as standard equipment. And coming back to the steering wheels, both are nicely finished, power adjusting, and heated, along with the armrest as well. Okay, so next up, let's dig into the major area of interior storage. Neither is overly generous in this regard, and the console arrangements are extremely similar. You also have wireless phone charging pads located up in the front. I already mentioned the lovely glass shifter in the BMW, and the GLE also has an electronic one, just column mounted. When in reverse, both are equipped with 360-degree camera systems, but only the BMW allows for the cool and helpful 3D view. Now let's go ahead and check out the audio systems. Overall, both sound great, but Mason and I have a slight preference for the sound of the Burmester. Checking out the climate systems, both have physical controls, for now at least. The temperature adjustment buttons are quite small on the BMW, but our X5 has quad zones and the GLE has dual zones without another package. But focusing in on the infotainment systems themselves, we have a 12.3-inch display in both the Benz and the Beamer. Both have great graphics, speedy performance, and built-in navigation. Both also have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but wireless support hasn't been added to the GLE yet. Finally, the last things to mention up front are the auto-dimming mirrors and large panoramic sunroofs. Now, a lot of the times, the idea behind having an SUV is to bring family and friends with you places. So let's check out how comfortable they're going to be. As you can see visually and with the numbers, the GLE has a legroom advantage of about 9%, while the headroom numbers are very similar to each other. Now for luxury features, I already talked about the climate controls, and both also have heated rear seats. Additional features include USBs and vents, but the GLE has a couple advantages here. It has power sunshades, and the rear seats are power adjusting in pretty much the same number of ways as the front seats. Let's move on to the third row next. Yes, you heard me right, the GLE actually does have an available third row for those of you who might need it every now and then, but don't need to upgrade to the larger GLS. While not spacious, this is something that BMW doesn't offer with the X5. Heading around to the tailgates, both models have hands-free power ones, and once they open up, you'll find good amounts of space. They are extremely similar, with the GLE having a small maximum advantage that is less than the 5% threshold to score a point. That's it for the interiors, so now it's time to take them out on the road and see who will pull ahead in this tight race. German automakers are notorious for trying to match each other tit for tat, and the engine situation is one of those places. Both are using 3-liter turbo inline sixes, paired with 48-volt mild hybrid systems. Power outputs are in the Mercedes' favor, but only by about 7% in horsepower and torque. What's really impressive is that these two accelerate to 60 miles per hour in under 5.5 seconds.
Nice.
And as quick as that, you're above 60 miles per hour in the GLE 450. So, this comes in a wide variety of engine choices, which I think I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Because of that, you're going to have a wide range of horsepower figures. I think the GLE 450, though, is probably the most popular variant in terms of sales. That's what we have, and that is kind of the second step up the ladder. So what is powering this is a 3-liter turbocharged inline 6-cylinder. This is paired with Mercedes EQ Boost, which is a mild hybrid system, and the total output is going to be 362 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. Alright, so there's a quick jolt of acceleration in this X5. So we actually have the standard engine option, the low-powered option, even though this still has plenty of power, as you just saw. So what we have underneath of the hood of this xDrive 40i model is a 3-liter turbocharged inline 6-cylinder paired with their 48-volt mild hybrid system. Altogether, it's going to be making 335 horsepower and 330 pound-feet of torque.
Yeah, and this motor, we've said it in previous X5 reviews, is just so refined. I mean, truly, the acceleration is just effortless.
Despite surprising speed, both were designed with smoothness at the core. Their 8 and 9-speed automatics are some of the best in the business, with imperceptible shifts and dual personalities that awaken when using the sport modes. Both have all-wheel drive as equipped. Speaking of gears, let's talk about the transmission. So we do have an 8-speed automatic transmission on board. It is a fantastic transmission, as it is in many other BMW products. Smooth as silk when you're driving at a subdued, regular pace, and really fast responding when you want a lot of power.
Yeah.
As we kind of work our way through some traffic, let's go ahead and talk about the transmission. So this does have a 9-speed automatic transmission. It is imperceptibly smooth. Put your foot down. It'll give you a quick response and get you into the right gear. But as far as just cruising around, which is what most people do in this type of model, it's very, very smooth and you just don't notice it at all. Let's also talk about ride quality. There really is nothing bad to say about either model, with a spectacularly comfortable ride and that typical solid Germanic feel. Both these testers have adaptive dampers that can change characteristics based on the drive modes, and air suspensions are also available.
But guys, as we're finally getting out of the city and just starting to cruise along, I want to not delay this conversation any longer than need be, because the GLE average owner is going to really just be using it for cruising along and comfort. And this model does a fantastic job. The whole powertrain combination, the ride quality, the sound level, which we'll get an official reading here in just a little bit, it all just works in combination to give you a phenomenal ride experience. Is one of the best ride qualities that money can buy, regardless of your price point. And, speaking of the comfort level, let's go ahead and discuss how this BMW X5 rides, because that's, of course, a mission with this vehicle is to be comfortable, and like Drew said earlier, it's definitely tuned for that comfort until you really start hustling it around, and this X5 is incredibly, incredibly comfortable. For having 21-inch alloy wheels on this particular model, you would never guess it sitting here on the inside. It soaks up the bumps like nothing else, and honestly, it's surprising to me that this does not have an air suspension on this particular model, just because it rides that smooth, guys.
Now, as far as other driving dynamics, both have some German athleticism baked into them as well. Even though comfort is still the primary mission, the X5 comes across as a bit sharper in handling response and steering. Now, this is a BMW after all, so I do need to mention our driving dynamics. For a bigger SUV, it definitely handles nicely. We've gone into the sport setting, so it firms up the steering nicely, firms up the dampers a little bit as well. But this is still, at the end of the day, more of a luxury-oriented product, like Mason was mentioning. If you want the purest sport experience, then BMW has a full line of M products that you can get. I also want to talk about their auto start-stop systems, which are powered by the mild hybrid setups. Both manufacturers have done a great job here. But, that being said, the seamless Mercedes EQ Boost system is still the industry leader in our experience. Now let's talk a little bit about EQ Boost and the mild hybrid setup. If you were looking at my tachometer, you'll notice before I even come to a stop, the system allows it to go ahead and turn the engine off, which is really nice, helps you not to notice the on-off switching of the engine. And EQ Boost does help the power ever so slightly off the line, but the main thing is that advanced auto start stop system. It just allows it, like I said, to shut down before you even come to a stop, and it is just so smooth. We've said it in a lot of Mercedes reviews, but this is the smoothest auto start-stop in the industry. A few are getting closer.
The Germans are getting close.
They're getting closer, but Mercedes still has the prize in our view.
For sure.
High-end luxury vehicles also need to be quiet, and they both deliver library quiet cabins even at highway speed. The X5, however, delivered one of the quietest sound level readings we have ever captured.
Now that is impressive. 52.3 decibels is our sound level reading. That's some of the best sound level readings we've ever gotten, and I can certainly just hear that inside of this cabin. I'm incredibly comfortable, and also it's incredibly quiet. It just sounds like a library in here. 55.6 decibels is what we're sitting at.
Finally, as far as fuel economy, their similar powertrains deliver nearly identical fuel economy ratings. But before we conclude this comparison, let's revisit the price difference between these two. Because money matters less at this price point, the $5,575 gap will equate to a quarter point per thousand, or 1.25 points. So that's it for another super close comparison between two super close rivals. Ultimately, both are spectacular luxury SUVs that largely match each other on the most important things, and it's easy to see why each sells so well. A lot of the choice will come down to personal preference, which we want to hear from you in the comments section below. Which one are you driving home if you had the 80 grand? While you're down there telling us which luxury SUV you prefer, go ahead and click the subscribe button as well, since that helps us show you guys all the latest vehicles hitting the market. We are already looking forward to the 2024 rematch coming this fall, and subscribing will make sure you don't miss it. As always, we appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.